Oh there guys, it's Monday morning. Unfortunately didn't have any fish last night. Ed however had a cracking 23.5 pound common carp. Beautiful run. Guys a few pegs down actually heard it, so it was an absolute stormer. He got that in, 23.5 pound, beautiful fish, very long and lean. Looked like it could have been touching probably, I'd say 27 if it was spawning. So beautiful fish. And that was about 9:30 last night, and I believe he caught that on a high-vis wafter. And it wasn't actually fully dark at that point, so we had huge expectations for the actual night session. But like I said, I didn't get anything. Ed had another cracking run, which took his right hand rod to my right hand rod, and looking out in front of us, that's probably about 300 yards of water. So I'd love to see what fish that was which pulled it up. But me and Ed both think it was actually his hair rig, which was actually the downfall of that. It looked to be quite long, and it could have been that the actual fish just picked up the buoy rather than take the hook as well, but obviously that's a mistake Ed obviously knows about, because he's a lot more experienced than me, and he's changed his rigs over this morning and recast them out. He's done it to all 3 rods, so it's another liner which you keep getting. But yeah, with the liners, they've happened all through yesterday, all through last night. I believe it could just be, I don't know, bream or fiddling around with the bait, but you'll soon know when you get a carp in here, because it just, from what I've heard, it absolutely takes off, and from what I've seen with Ed, it does. So yeah, you'll know the difference between one of these line bites and one of the actual proper carp just taking it, because it just destroys it. So we've got big expectations of today, because lucky enough it's actually turned really sunny again. It wasn't meant to be, it was meant to be really overcast, and even on Tuesday and Wednesday it had the prediction of rain, and somewhere someone said snow or something, but fingers crossed that don't look like it's going to happen, because it's beautiful blue sky and the sun's right high in the sky at the moment. So if it continues that way, obviously there's going to be, it looks like another fly hatch like there was yesterday, and that gets the carp, as you know, up in the water, feeding off the top. Yesterday about 4 or 5 o'clock, I think you could see them see so many fish out there just cruising on the top, obviously picking off a bit of insects, bits of loose feed which are out there at the moment. So we've got our eyes open to see if that hatch, if it does happen again, it's because we'll put our zigs on and see and get out there again. Right, first fish for our Sandhurst session for me. I know I said about 2 or 3 pound tench, probably a bit bigger. This is on the red Magellana rig on the left hand rod. It's been out there since probably about 10 AM this morning. We were just about to cast the zig out, and as me and Ed were both standing by the rods, it just ripped off. Cracking looking fish, pretty much in immaculate condition, so hopefully it's the first of many. Hi there guys, it's about 2 hours since I had my tench. Nothing out since. I don't think anyone's had anything out across the lake. Me and Ed still getting line bites and the usual stuff like that, but yeah, there doesn't seem to be. I chucked the zig out for a couple of hours, but no indication on that, so I've switched back onto a PB Baits high-vis pop-up, and now I've gone on to 2 Magellana rods. Just basically trying to pick something up again. So that tench was cracking fish, but a bit of a coincidence, the first fish I get on Carp from the start is actually a tench, so yeah, it's a bit of a shame really, but never mind. I can't argue with the fish, especially in Sandhurst, when some people have been here like nearly a week. We're speaking to one guy over there, and he said he don't have a bream, so I'm more happy for the potential I am a bream. So it's that's a bonus, to be honest. Now I think me and Ed are both going to stick it out till about 3:30 on the rods we've just cast out probably about half an hour ago, and it's probably, I think it's about 1 o'clock now. So yeah, we're going to stick it out until that sort of time. With the rods at the moment, I'm fishing, like I said, Magellana on 2 rods. On the centre rod I've got the high-vis pop-up, but in the bag I've got the Sub-Zero PB Baits mix with some crushed PB Baits Tiger Nut bottom boilies, and also the Bloodworm and Enigma boilies, all crushed up into like a kind of mix which I've done myself, flavoured with a bit of pineapple juice from PB Baits. And then yeah, it's quite a large bag, so I've just chucked it as far as I could really to send to the lake. To be fair, we've not actually, I wouldn't say, marked any spots out for gravel or weed on that. That's probably a bit bad of us, but the tendency here is to just chuck it out as far as you can, and then usually that's basically your best bet. But if anything changes, I mean, Ed has spoke about getting his spod rod and his marker rod and just putting a few, say about 3 or 4 spawns of maggots out there, just to try and get a little bed of baits for tonight, which we probably will look into later on. But at the moment we're just sticking to the similar tactics which we have been the guys next to us have had a 21 pound common carp, which is a very nice fish. So they are still feeding. It's just a case of just try and get one really. Hi there guys, it's now night time, as you can probably tell. We've changed things up a little bit as in terms of feeding and the rigs I'm using. We basically got the marker rod out and tried to find a little variation in the lake itself. We found a little deeper patch just next to a little bit of weed. Basically our idea was to put some maggots out there, probably about 10 little spawnfuls, and just try and get the fish rooting about in that weed, obviously with all the natural stuff which is in there anyway. And as yet, it looks pretty hopeful. We've had a few knocks and bleeps on the rod. But yeah, I'm still using the Magaline on the left rod, which is obviously on top of all that base which is out there, maggots now. On the centre rod I've got cork dust pop up from I think it's Hinders, and then the right hand rod another Magaline rig, which is drilled out probably as far as I can get it into the centre of the lake. Me and Ed are pretty much going to wind down now for this day, and fingers crossed, we're really hopeful for something in the night. This is when Ed got his fish yesterday about this time, so yeah, we're really hopeful, and hopefully I can bring one to you then guys. Hi there guys, it's Tuesday morning now. I had a really quiet night last night. I only had a couple of bleeps myself. I didn't hear too much from you awesome as well, Ed. It's pretty quiet, wasn't it?
Well, I hooked a duck this morning. It was about 7:30. It just the line went slack and then it tightened up again. I struck into it thinking it might have been a fish, and there was just some bit, you could see as the line went out from under the tip. You could see that there was just something knocking about in the middle of it. It looked like it was just like a small coop, but it was actually the duck being held under by the weight of the lead. So yeah, that's the only thing that we've had. There's been a few liners in the night, but I don't think anyone else had anything. The lads in the next swim, but when their alarms go off, you could hear their alarms. Same with everyone else on the lake really. It's not that much of a big lake. It's more wide than anything, but we're all either in front of each other or right next to each other, so you should be able to hear anything. There's been quite a few fish topping out in front of us. We heard them going for it last night, didn't we? But
yeah, say last night though, I expected a lot more, to be honest. We've recast all our rods this morning. Probably will do again personally myself in a few hours, because I don't believe I've got the distance to be hitting the fish, so I might change to singles or all singles and just drill them out as far as I can for the last 24 hours we're here, just in hope for fish more than anything really. We've seen fish, but they are at a distance, so I don't think I'm hitting them at the moment. I think Ed's back. Ed's a lot closer to hitting them than I am, so I'll probably recast mine in a couple of hours time, so just give the PVA a bag, just give it a little time out there at the moment with the feed I've got at the moment, but we'll see. Hopefully I can get a bit further out, to be honest. So.
Yeah, it's overcast today. The sun keeps poking out every now and then, which would, it's like it was quite cold last night. It weren't frosty. It was just just really cold. Bearing in mind they said that we were going to have snow this week. I think we've done quite well with the weather that we've got. Obviously the sun keeps poking out, like I said. It's just going to keep warming up the lake, and hopefully when it goes overcast again, the fish will go back down into the layers and hopefully go to start feeding on the bottom. But it's looking more promising with the conditions that we've got, whereas the past few days when we've thought the conditions were against us, it's at night when we had the fish. So
it seems to be it's cooling down. The fish actually turn a bit more active in the feeding, but it seems a bit against the norm really, that does. But so it's a strange lake, it's a hard lake, but so we've had a fish each, which we're both happy with, but obviously a lot more happy with the carp. But so we've got 24 hours left, and hope we can bring you on. Hi there guys, you joined us on Wednesday morning. It's a really crazy night last night. Unfortunately I didn't have anything, but about 5 o'clock last night I had a ripper overtake on my middle rod. That's on the Sub-Zero boilies, the hardened one Sub-Zero, and the budworm, both about 15mm I think they are, so it's quite a big rig. Cast out about 80 yards, and so yeah, so about 5 o'clock it ripped off straight to the left of me, and it went over it took about 50 yards worth of line, I'd say, off the spool, and we got it in. We got it through a few patches of weed, and it felt like a real nice fish. Would have 100% been a PB for me, no doubt about it. Yeah, so we reeled it in. We got it about 20-30 yards from the bank, and I could see it was tangled in some line, but I didn't know what it was. So we thought it was my left-hand rod. We got it about 20-30 yards, and the guy on the peg just to the left was probably about 100 yards away. He's come over and claimed that it was his fish. Now, what we did was say we gave him the benefit of the doubt, which we probably shouldn't have at the time, but we both literally just woke up and we didn't want to say. Just wanted the fish in basically to see how big it was. It did feel like a cracking fish, so we let our bail arms off and let the guy over to the left of us say bring it in. Now the guys brought it in the end. He's brought his rig in, and he realised he wasn't actually attached to a fish whatsoever. He must have just cast over one of our rods. Now that I say was hugely disappointing, because by the time I'd tightened up all the slack which I'd fed out to him, the fish had died into the middle of the lake and found itself a nice bed of weed and snagged itself right up. We tried for about 10 minutes to try and free it from the weed, but unfortunately in the end he just pulled through, and then we lost the fish. So obviously really disappointed. I was probably lying in my bag for about another hour afterwards, just I don't know, like just thinking if maybe we obviously didn't do the right thing, but again I think that comes with experience. It's only my second time not fishing on the bank, and I think sometimes I'm trying to be a bit too nice really, but
we should have just really took it, really, shouldn't we? We should have just, because obviously we should have been able to net it. We should have been able to, because obviously it was your middle rod. We had your left-hand rod tangled up in it as well. I mean, obviously we've got 2 rods that are out there. Obviously one of them's got a fish on. He must have had something on for him to actually get up out of bed, unless he'd completely gone over your lines, and the fish, I don't see how it would have. If you had a fish on, obviously fair enough, it's gone across your lines, and then you've had a fish on, they're both just like tangled up. But then he must have been over your lines in the first place if you've had a run and his gone off at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm well within my restrictions of actual where to fish. I'm well within my range of fishing, and I'm not spread out. I've not got one left rod right pinned down to the left. They are basically pretty much in the same area, and it's sort of like the lines are probably, I don't know, they're probably about 100 feet apart between all 3 rods, so they're not stretched out across the lake. So I'm a bit disappointed really, because like I said, it would have been a PB, and it felt like a cracking fish. It looks like it could be the last chance we get as well, which is even more disappointing. If it happened on the first night, then maybe I could have not got over it, but it'd give me a better chance of catching another one. But we're into about the last 4 or 5 hours now, and it does look, all the disturbance we had as well with the fight, that chances are it's going to be the last take and the last fish this session. But like I say, I'll learn from that, and learn to take a stand sort of thing when fish is in my swim and it's covering both my rods. I'll learn from that, and say it won't happen again. But I don't know. We've got our rods out at the moment, but basically just a chance to try and catch a fish really. We're on here till 12. Like I said, if we do get anything, obviously we'll show you, but this probably will be it now. I'm fishing with Ed again on the 14th of April, and that's in a PB bait social. So I've done quite well on the PB bait. Well, not said I've done quite well because I've only had a tench, but the fish do seem to like the PB bait stuff at the moment, because so that was on 2 of the hardened hook baits, which I thought to myself I will put out, because I'm guessing the majority of people in here do fish pop-ups. So I thought if I put like a bottom bait on like a hardened hook bait, then maybe it'll just throw them a bit, and it did seem to do the trick, to be honest. So that worked. But yeah, I'll see you at Baden Hall next weekend, which so I'll be with Ed. So I hope to bring you a nice fish there, guys, because it just hasn't been our session so far. It's been an unlucky one, but thanks for watching anyway.